all you have to do to get to story time is fast forward to 00:00. But you can sit back and also watch the lovely repartee I have with the fans who will be pouring in at any moment. Step one. Got to get the phone off the desk, you guys. You can't be having that. Big old fat double episode today coming for you guys. It's episode 98 and 99 because I and my awesome business partner, bestie / spouse are going on vacation. We're leaving Friday for 3 days, 5 days actually, 3 days with my nephew, and then a couple of days kicking around just our own selves. And I'm going to try to go 3 whole days without doing any work at all. Odds are not good. I have not been able to pull off 3 days without work. Fuck. I don't know. It's been a long time. Cobalt, what's up? The Corrupted Human. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Recluse Mage. Hello. Dawn Shipley. Hello. Cheers to all of you. I only get one skizich, one scotch right now because I have to read for about an hour and then do the deep cuts episode. Yes, that is right. We have a double episode today, so we can get one episode ahead in the podcast feed so that I and a real girl herself can go on vacay. It's been a long time. It's been a long time coming. Richard Bennett, how you doing, man? How you doing? Hello. Yes, glad to see everybody. The double episode thing should be pretty fun. The first one's actually what an episode is supposed to be, which is 20 minutes. The whole goal of Slay was to make these 20-minute episodes. So they would pop in for 10 minutes, commercial break, 10 minutes, boom, 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 boom. Unfortunately, hey, Sean, I do not write short very well. And these 10-minute episode, 25 episodes a season, this has not worked out. Now, you guys reap the benefits from this because there's a whole bunch of story going on. You get to be part of it. Edward Rocco. Hello, sir. How are you? So tonight we have episode 98 happen to fall in about that 20-minute area. But then episode 99 is probably 35 to 40 minutes all by itself. So you can't win for losing. But you guys win. You guys win big. If you're just coming in after the fact, always remember, if you're watching the pre-recorded version of this, fast forward to 00:00 if you wish to get right to story time. So we are going to have a hell of a show today, you guys. Hell of a show. And then when it's all said and done, a real girl herself is going to come on up and we're going to talk about the summer movies that we're pumped for. Some have already come out. Most of them have not, but that is what we going to do. That's what we're going to do. Dr. Campbell in the house. What's up? Richard Bennett, we like it girthy. Aw, yeah. So we'll see what kind of a crowd we get tonight because I tried a new thing for the promo, which was, what up, Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD? Thank you, sweets.
Mm-hmm. Want to give me that glass? Is it empty? I'll bring a new one up before you start.
I forgot where I was at. Dr. Dan Baker's in the house. So there we go. We're going to go live in about 5 minutes and 26 seconds. And they're pretty fun episodes. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming up. A lot of action in the back section. And then it's really setting up the crazy stuff that's going on. Rob Otto says, double dose of dragon tonight. The triple D, the double dose dragon. And we did get a couple of movie picks from Rob as well, which did not line up with A and I's. So you will get some of that Rob Otto flavor. I got my tea. Good to go. Oh, anyways. So for the promo, I tried using a program we use called Descript. Yes, Joseph, I will be talking about Bring Her Back. And made a little vertical video of me reading from last week. A nice 30-second chunk. Very nice. Promoted that as like, hey, we're going to have a double episode tonight. Tune in. Except I didn't realize when you post that video like that the double episode description is like that big. So I'm sure most people was like, oh, Scott posted a clip of himself. Big surprise that Scott wants people to see him on video. And they may not know this was a double episode. Thanks, Dolly. So that means we may not have a big audience tonight, But live and learn. These things are all very super confusing and whatnot. I'm so far behind the technology the kids are using these days to promote their live streams and all their other business. My general Rivets Mela, this is awesome. Can't wait. I remember 2 episodes. If I remember 2 episodes, say yes, correct. Yes, listening while working in Central Valley, Cali. Fellow Californian, good to see you. Good to see you. But a big fat double episode. Rob and I worked hard on it. A lot of stuff still. We're still in the construction phase, I would say, of like floors 20 to 30 that have to be put in place and fleshed out, run plumbing, run electrical, drywall, all the stuff, before you can put that penthouse up top. And the penthouse is where shit gets done, my friends. Where shit gets done. Brian, I hope you caught up, bro, because tonight is a double episode. So if you're not caught up, come back in an hour. That's all I can tell you. Okay. We do not have a Joseph Aldridge in the house. What's up, buddy? Do not have a Chris Grawl in the house. Chris Grawl went to the AC/DC. And, of course, Chris Grawl is the author of Trigger Guard, the ultimate reference guide for writers who use guns in their books. Also, friend of the show, also a constant source of military information for all of the stuff that I write, along with Joe Root, retired Navy, and J.P. Harvey, retired Air Force, and Jeff Rappelgee, Marine. I don't think you're never a former Marine. I think that's how it works. So I'm not really sure. If there's any Marines in the house, help me out. Can you be a retired Marine? I do not know. My mother-in-law just up in the house. Everybody say hi to Zip. Marianne Radowski in the house. Got to keep that lip balm handy because, oh my God, a lot of reading to do today. So we're going to go live in 2 minutes. Again, after the fact, go fast forward to 00000. Tonight's episode is episode 98, Let's Dance, and episode 99, Get in the Van. After the episode in Deep Cuts, we're talking about the summer 2025 movies we are excited about. If you have purchased The Gangster and Slay and you have not reviewed it yet on Audible, Amazon, Goodreads, you should do that. That is the best way to help us out. Of course, as always, although I spend most of my time writing, one of these days, I will send out a newsletter, and you can sign up for that at scottsagler.com/newsletter. Most of the communication I do these days is our SMS list. Text SIG text to 855-955-5095. Get alerted with text. We don't send the emails to anybody else. We don't send the text to anybody else. Fuck all those spammers. Sorry, mother-in-law. I had to swear right there. Of course, if you have ideas for shows or questions, you want to send that to info@emptyset.com. Next week is going to be deep cuts only. Since Ariel Girl herself and I will be on the road, it'll be general chit-chat from a hotel room, probably. There will be no fiction live read, but Slay episode 99, which you'll hear tonight, will appear in the feed on June 15th. And a big notice, ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday, June 18th, marks the 100th episode of Slay. And to celebrate with us, we have none other than Slay co-author Rob Otto joining us for deep cuts to chat about how we got this dang far already. So you guys put that in your calendar. Rob is always a spectacular guest, super fun, and we want to party on for 100 episodes, Wayne and or Garth. So let's go ahead and get ready to rumble. Like I said, it's going to be hot time in the old town tonight. I just got to wait for the party to show up. Party! All right, let's get to it. Minus that, give him a Slay third up, test my Schwarmy. Working like a champ, like a video vamp. Demolition Woman, can I be your man? Whoa! Okay, here we go. Recording. And we are recording. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to boogie down. Let's get into the carnage. Previously on Slay. Linc and the gang had weeks of preparation planned for their raid on Callista's subterranean lair in England, but Icepick's hunt for Dante and his rousting of Dillon Cantrell for information on the goblin's whereabouts meant the gang had to move up the schedule dramatically. To break into Callista's anemone-chamber vault, where she keeps a piece of her soul, the gang needs Mercutio, who has a key to that vault embedded in his heart. They know Mercutio is in Callista's club, along with the Fire Witch herself, Gariginald, Gary, Satyr, Bobby the Minotaur, and hundreds of club-goers. It's time to get that key. How will Linc and the gang do it? Find out next on Slay, episode 98. Hold on one sec. Amateur streamer fool had his windows open. What are you going to do? Here we go. Shitbird watched the person fuckface called Icepick slowly walk down the alley. 4 men in stupid suits watched Icepick leave. Another man, making 5 men total, was sitting on the ground, a bag of ice on his crotch. The man seemed unhappy. Shitbird saw people look that way after Fuckface kicked them in the cloaca. Fuckface loved to kick people in the cloaca, which, to be honest, was quite rude if you asked Shitbird, which no one had. Wisps of thought wriggled up in Shitbird's head like juicy, fat worms sliding across the sidewalk after a rain. He loved eating worms. Delicious. Fantastic when alive, even better when a few days dead with a touch of mold on them. These thoughts, though, not delicious. Not delicious at all because they were connected to that woman. Shitbird did not like that woman. For all of Fuckface's drawbacks, and there were 42 so far, as Shitbird felt it important to keep a close count, his thoughts felt kind of nice. The wisps twisted, became an image that Shitbird understood, a substitute for words he could hear. Can we go yet? How many times was that woman going to ask? 4 times so far. That woman. Shitbird imagined himself dropping a steamy airborne deuce on that woman's car window. More wisps twisting, becoming words. Stunad, is the way clear or not? That woman was annoying. If the way was clear, wouldn't Shitbird have let that woman know? Shitbird focused, looked hard at the man in the black trench coat walking down the alley. He let those images take up all the concentration and focus he had, which, as Fuckface had told him many times, 391 times to be exact, wasn't much focus at all. Shitbird sensed that that woman understood his thoughts. So much work. And in this scary place. That woman better have a fucking cracker when this was done, or that woman was going to get pimp-winged right in her fucking face. Shitbird didn't feel safe here. The brick building with the floor-to-ceiling broken windows again. Each window split in half down the middle, each half subdivided into 25 square panes. 50 panes per window. 17 windows on the building's long side, 12 on the short. 1,450 panes per story. 4 stories. 5,800 panes. Right over there was the old wooden tower where he had perched. Right over there was the old wooden tower he had perched on when he'd seen crattlebats, 4 of them, circling over the brick building's roof, around the bearded man who controlled them, and around the short, pointy-eared green man in the red clothes, who had been the enemy but now was a friend, apparently, which was very dumb if you asked Shitbird, which no one had. No sign of crattlebats now, just stupid sleeping pigeons, 16 of them, probably dreaming stupid pigeon dreams. But Shitbird knew better than to trust his eyes. Crattlebats were like asshole owls, but bigger, faster, meaner, and far more assholish. Shitbird did not like it here. Still, he had done as Fuckface had asked him to do, even though Fuckface did, indeed, fight like a penguin. At the moment, though, Shitbird couldn't talk to Fuckface, because Fuckface was somewhere inside that cursed building, hiding away like some pansy-ass sparrow. Shitbird missed the greatest. The greatest never hid. Well, the greatest hid now, of course, hid in that awful place that smelled like death about to happen. Before he got hurt, the greatest had always stood tall, often with Shitbird perched on his shoulder. Oh, how all the crows and ravens, any bird of actual merit that was, because no one gave a wet shit what stupid pigeons thought, had been so jealous back then. Back when Shitbird was called Fiachna. But things weren't like that anymore. Nowadays, Shitbird was called Shitbird because that's what Fuckface called him. Nowadays, it was rare indeed to perch on Fuckface's shoulder. Shitbird had done that only 12 times. 12. Small number. Nowadays, the best Shitbird could hope for was to avoid owls, and crattlebats, of course, do what he was asked to do, and pound tail on that American goldfinch in the park, and maybe find a wonderful dumpster every now and then. Nowadays, Shitbird perched on the edge of a rooftop, and he watched the alley. When this was done, that woman better have some fucking crackers. If she didn't, Shitbird had something special for her. Oh yes, he most certainly did. A starless sky. City lights making the clouds glow softly. The smell of garbage, car exhaust, and alley piss. Cars and trucks rolling past, steam drifting up from manhole covers, drunk people walking around, some likely going to fight, some likely going to fuck, some likely going to vomit. And a lucky few who would get to do all three. Dante Oganov so loved the night. Deities of all stripes, grant me strength, Ariella said. That raven is God's damned annoying. Now he's sending me images of him shitting in my hair. Dante sighed. He thought of suggesting that, perhaps, Ariella should be grateful she had hair to be shat in the first place, as opposed to a sparse crop of wiry black clumps that weren't even sufficient enough to make a proper comb-over, like Dante had. Or, perhaps, she'd be counting her lucky stars that she had a charm on that awful necklace that let her communicate with the raven. Otherwise, this job would not be on the precipice of success. In Dante's limited time around the woman, he had found that, no matter what good fortune should fall her way, Ariella Goldsmith found something to complain about. He is bird, Dante said. Let him be bird. You have what Lincoln told you to bring for him. Annoyed, Ariella pulled on a pocket of her Lumencia City Public Works coveralls to show the contents. 6 or 7 bags of those little oyster crackers. "Is good," Dante said. "You give treat, you'll not get shit in hair." He turned back to the sidewalk junction box he and Ariella had prepped for the mission. A bit of creative rewiring. All they needed now was the go-ahead. The Lumencia Public Works van, which Dante had stolen several hours earlier, along with 2 sets of coveralls, was parked at the corner, hazards flashing. Hazards flashing. His auto theft skills remained as sharp as ever. Considering the number of enlightened that attended Callista's club, real clothes were better than full overlays. With the coveralls, Dante could focus his personal meshwork on better overlays for his head and hands. Concentrating on those smaller areas gave him a better chance for even master meshworkers to miss his goblin nature. Powerful enough for someone like Vestinian? Doubtful. That Yobani Ubladok might even be around here somewhere. It was dangerous enough to be in the same area as Icepick, who was working for Vestinian, trying to find Dante. If Vestinian himself was in Lumencia, Dante was toast. Toast was an understatement. More like pureed or boiled. His brains turned to slime that leaked out of his ears, nose, and eyes. If Dante was lucky, Vestinian would offer some stale, 3 decades old, pre-packaged confection first, like giving a condemned man his last smoke. Even with the danger of being out in the open like this, though, Dante enjoyed putting his creeper skills in play. Electrical work like this factored into many jobs. It was one of the big 3 of creeper work: electrical, lockpicking, and counter meshwork. Sure, trailing people was important. Doing research often meant the difference between success and failure or death, and the need for a quiet knife in the base of the skull or a silenced bullet to the heart had their places. But the vast majority of tasks fell into the big 3. "Disgusting," Ariella said. "Gods as my witness, that bird is vile." Always complaining. So much complaining. What is it now? This time, the Stunad sent an image of him pooping in my mouth while I slept. But the flying flea bag says the coast is clear. Light it up. In truth, Dante was going to do the exact opposite. "Tell Walt," he said. 60-second countdown, starting now. Ariella pulled a burner phone from a pocket. While she called, Dante focused on his work. A final review before go time. "Really?" Callista said. "He claims Dante is back in town?" Mercutio huffed, shook his head, crossed his arms. Robert's big hands tightened on the top of his axe blades. "Not exactly," Gariginald said. "He thinks Oganov might be in the city. He wants to know what we know, if anything, about that." Callista looked to the bar where Lincoln and Hasharame were huddled close, drinking and laughing. Callista's gaze slowly swept across the herd of pretty, white-clad people grinding away, lit from below by the video screen dance floor, lit from above by the club's lights. She stroked her chin in the way she often did, the way that made Gariginald wonder if, at some point in the distant past, she might have had a beard. "He's so full of shit," Mercutio said. "That punk would not dare set foot. That punk Dante would not dare set a single foot in Lumencia." "Well, I wish he would." Robert's broad bull nostrils flared like bellows. I'd like to layeth a beating on that pipsqueak. Finish him off for good. Gariginald was not surprised by their reactions. Mercutio constantly assumed no one in their right mind would dare cross Callista, even though she had been crossed many times by many people. Robert remained embarrassed he hadn't been able to defend Callista, embarrassed that Lincoln had been the true man of the moment. And Mistress did what she always did. She thought. You should have brought Icepick back, Gary. You should have brought Icepick back, Gary, Robert said. We should have had a little chat. We should have... Callista raised a single finger. Robert stopped in mid-sentence. Gariginald did the right thing, she said. Once someone is asked to leave the club, they must leave the club. She lazily pointed that same finger at the mass of sexual energy mashed together on the dance floor. We don't want word getting out that people get a second chance. No second chances means fewer first offenses. She held out her bent hand toward Gariginald. A surge of love and admiration swept through him. That one as lowly as himself was allowed to serve Callista at all, let alone kiss her hand, was as close to a miracle as he had ever seen. Thank you, mistress. Gary stepped onto the throne dais, took her hand, which was hot as it always was, and he kissed it. I am happy you are pleased with my actions. She lifted her hand, let her red-nailed fingertips caress his left horn. The corner of her mouth curled into a smile. Fire flickered in her eyes. You never let me down, my pet, Callista said. Do you think Icepick will come back tomorrow? Gariginald nodded. He seems very motivated. I believe he wishes he had been upfront about his intentions when I first spoke to him when he arrived. He will show tomorrow, probably early, and most likely bearing gifts. Evaluating the intentions of others was one of Gariginald's primary duties for Callista. He wasn't always correct in his evaluation of others. He was no psychic, no living lie detector. But he was right far more often than he was wrong. Mercutio sat on an armrest of Callista's perch. Mistress, put a price on Dante's head, he said. Many bounty hunters have gone to Miami and come up empty-handed. Oleus Oakbeard and Boss Hogg included. That means Dante is not in that city. He frowned. I suppose nowhere is safe for him. He really only has one way out. Callista slowly rubbed Mercutio's leg. He really could wear more clothes, Gariginald felt. Mercutio's outfit was little more than a loincloth, and some chains of delicate gold rings, and some gaudy golden sneakers. Only one way out, Robert said. Which is? While the hulking minotaur was by no means stupid, he wasn't the smartest bull in the ring either. Well, to finish what he started, Callista said. Dante's only hope is to take over a territory of sufficient size to give him the money and power he needs to protect himself. Namely, my territory. They had come so close to killing him last time, but he had escaped with Boss Hogg and Oakbeard, both of whom were hunting him to collect the bounty Callista had posted. She looked at Gariginald, a serious expression on her face. I would like to see Icepick sooner rather than later, she said. Can you contact him, my pet? Gariginald reached into his tuxedo jacket and drew forth the long stiletto Icepick had given him. Well, I can, mistress. He told me this item knows how. The club's lights and music went out, dropping the room into darkness and silence, a hush that lasted only a moment or two before groans rose from the frustrated crowd. Gariginald reached into his tuxedo jacket. He didn't need light for his hand to find the handle of the first throwing knife. Mercutio, Callista said, give us some light. Mercutio mumbled a spell, one activated by words dripping with what Gariginald could only think of as evil. Gariginald didn't have to understand the meaning of those words to know a Sarukamesh chant when he heard one. All across the ceiling and walls, gigantic whirls and curls blossomed into silvery light. Like interweaving bands of ivy, the dimly illuminated club patrons in spectral black and white. The still spinning mirror ball looked like a strange, multifaceted planet hanging in a monochrome nebula. Fucking cool, said one dancer. How pretty, said another. To Gariginald, there was nothing cool or pretty about it. Implementing Sarukamesh, Jurogumo magic, was a dangerous choice, especially with an ex-Rixator in the house. Mercutio knew more Sarukamesh than most, and even his knowledge was barely a scratch on the cover of a tome so thick it had swallowed millions of souls. Mercutio did not use his Jurogumo relics often. That Callista asked him to activate one now told Gariginald that she didn't think the blackout was some random event. Robert stepped to Callista's side of the throne, his heavy gold labrys in his hands. She leaned closer to him, closer to his protection, although she showed no fear. Mistress could take care of herself quite well, thank you very much. Especially here, in her place of power. Gary, Robert said, check the front. Tell them to be on point. While spheres and other magical communication devices were always available, Gary provided in-house security with normal tech. The guards were only human, after all. He pulled a walkie-talkie from yet another tuxedo pocket. Simon, we've lost power. Sit rep? There was no answer. Simon! A scream, the first of many that night, came from the small bar to the right of the throne, the one with the top-shelf tequila and tended by Juan, another of Gariginald's hand-selected staff. There, Gariginald saw Juan running for his life, being chased by a hideous creature made of whipping brown-red tentacles. Even as Gariginald drew his blade, another shout of alarm sounded, then another. People ran from two more of the whipping creatures moving through the strange light, moving fast. How had they gotten in? One rolled toward the DJ booth, bounding over revelers who fell over themselves and each other, desperate to get out of the way. Another tumbled toward the corner booths, still draped in shadow, then turned toward Samantha's bar, where Lincoln and Hasharame sat. The switch from confusion to full-blown panic flipped, and it flipped hard. Shouts and cries. The rolling, tumbling intruders knocked patrons over, knocked them aside. Those who stayed on their feet surged toward the front corridor, a wave of humanity heading for the exit. Lincoln rushed toward the tumbling creature, shifting from seated man, who just so happened to be wearing a cape, into something more shadow than substance, a fast-moving blob with only hints of legs and arms, and a helmeted head, from which sprang the curling, quavering, stretching, horn-like shadow mask for which he was so well known. Lincoln grabbed a pair of clutching dancers and shoved them toward the bar, putting himself between them and the strange creature. He swung that nasty Viking hatchet of his, driving the blade into the many-limbed creature, which burst apart in a cloud that caught the pale Sarukamesh light as it scattered across patrons trying to get away. "Nice one, Linc!" Robert shouted. "What was that?" Something big, something solid, something silent, slammed into Robert and Throne alike. The minotaur, Callista, and the golden throne sailed through the air to crash upon the dance floor with a sharp crunch of cracked glass. The dais itself then tilted up violently, sending Gariginald and Callista's scantily clad club kid protectors flying. Gariginald landed hard on his head and shoulder, one curled horn skidding off the video screen with a sound like nails on a chalkboard. He got to one knee in time to see a towering shadow, blacker than a starless night, darker than 6 feet under, grab Mercutio and throw him like a child's toy. Hasherame ducked as Mercutio smashed into the bottles behind the bar in a splash of broken glass and booze before crashing down out of sight behind the bar itself. Fear etched in her beautiful face, Hasherame chose the better part of valor and leapt over the counter herself, ducking down to hide. "Callista!" The rough, deep, angry voice came from the now throneless dais. There, so big, even bigger than Robert, a black hole that blocked out the curving, ivy-like vines of Joroguma light on the wall behind it, a hard-edged, absolute shadow in the shape of medieval armor, maybe, although it was hard to tell, hard everywhere except for the head. The negative space of a helm with 6 vertical slots where the visor would be. 6 vertical spots. 6 vertical slots glowing with internal fire. "Callista!" That voice, like the barnacles of an old wooden warship when it ran aground upon granite boulders. "Time to pay for your sins!" Patrons kept screaming, kept pushing their way to the exit corridor like desperate lemmings. Employees as well. There was Samantha, elbowing her way through the crowd, trying to get out. Robert helped Mistress Callista to her feet, then stood in front of her, the labrys held in hands that shook with anger. "You dare attack my mistress? You will learn the error of your ways!" He took one step toward the black shadow. Then Lincoln was at his side. So fast was the man in gray. The way his cloak wavered and expanded, he moved like water coursing downhill. "Buddy," the man in gray said to the Shadow Knight, You may be blacker than a basilisk's ball sack, but you picked the wrong day to start some shit. Bobby, I say we go get the motherfucker." And that, my booties, that was episode 98. You may talk amongst yourselves while I call up episode 99. Got to get that shit recorded too. Boop. Close. That was fun. Let me take a break from my voice here while I got talking. Rob says, Bobby and Linc ready to kick some ass. Hell yeah, from Cobalt. Brian says, what the F? Fight's going down. Spike. I don't know what to tell you. Fight's going down. Shit's about to get real. Timothy Clark says, awesome. Cobalt, you may be surprised to know that basilisk's ball sack is harder to pronounce than it is to type. I probably should have known this, but I should have picked something else besides basilisk's ball sack. Say it, you know what, right now. While I take a break, you guys say it 3 times fast. Do it out loud. Go. You all fucked it up. You all fucked it up. I'm sure of it. All right, here we go. We're getting ready for episode 99. First of all, let's start recording. Oops. I'm going to tell you guys, 2 scotches in, the deep cuts with the 2025 movie review is going to be fucking bonkers. It's going to be absolutely fucking bonkers. All right, let's get into it. Recording. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if my throat will tolerate this. That's what she said. Here we go. I'm crying a little bit at my Shwarmy sound. It was right there 2 seconds ago. Oh, I gotta go home. Here we go. Previously on Slay. The gang is after Callista's lover, Mercutio, who has a magical key embedded in his heart. They need to get that key into a vault. They need to get that key to get into a vault hidden away in Onic, England. Magda's pitch black, cursed armor attacked Callista in her club and threw Mercutio into a wall of liquor bottles behind one of the club's 3 bars. Is Mercutio hurt? Is he dying? Lincoln, Gary Satyr, and Bobby the Brahma Bull Minotaur lined up to protect Callista from the armor. The fight is about to get nasty. Meanwhile, Billy is waiting outside in the old stone church's van, but waiting for what? Find out next on Slay, episode 99. Billy sat in the driver's seat, watching the loading dock across the street. No one in there hadn't been all night. Dark in there. A beat-up concrete platform that had probably been old back when Grandma had been a toddler. Billy wanted to come by sometime in the daylight, see if there were scorch marks from Lincoln's fight against the Flechette sisters. "Bro, your dog reeks!" Cray Cray Bray was in the back of the van, staying out of sight. Dragon had taken a liking to her. It seemed Dragon took a liking to everyone these days and would not leave the woman's side. "Shut up!" Billy didn't take his eyes off his phone. "Focus! It's almost go time, and Dragon does not stink." Billy heard the faint squeak of a tiny butthole. He cringed. Maybe Dragon herself didn't stink, but her farts were not a thing easily dismissed. "Oh my God," Bray said. "Smells like rotten seaweed." If that was accurate, Billy felt grateful he had never been to the ocean. If that was the odor of rotting seaweed, he never wanted to visit a beach in his entire life. Billy checked the timer on his burner cell phone. Only a few more seconds. He hoped things would go smooth, and he wouldn't have to use the mess. The motherfucker elimination shooting system could lay down some damage. He didn't mind using it against brainless automatons like the Lagroons, but that club was full of regular people. Regular evil people? Maybe. But most were his age. At least they looked his age. He'd seen several white-clad club-goers walking along the sidewalk, all fitted up for a night out. He hoped none of them got hurt. But with his plan, people were bound to get dinged up at least a bit. Billy heard that squeak again, like a balloon neck stretched just enough to let out the tiniest bit of air. "Heavens help us," Cray said. "What do you feed this thing?" The stench hit Billy. Even more pungent than the first 5 farts. He really should not have shared those 2 bags of Fool Ranch chips with her. But she had sat up so pretty when he'd been eating them, and her eyes had been so big. Such a cutie. He looked at his phone. "Get sharp," Billy said. "It's almost time." The odd black and white lighting cast the sprawling room in a noir haze. Jurogumo magic, Magda knew, an unexpected development that cast an ominous tone. As if what she faced wasn't ominous enough. A minotaur as big as her armor circled to her right. Linc circled to her left. A tuxedo-clad satyr prepared to throw a knife. A half-dozen sweaty club kids who had been on the throne dais now pulled guns and knives and swords from hidden compartments throughout the place. On top of all that, Callista stood in the center of the now empty dance floor, her hands glowing like embers and a "fuck around and you were about to find out" smile on her mouth. Oops. And a "you fucked around and are about to find out" smile on her face. Despite all that, Magda felt electric. She felt damn near invincible. Which she was, in a way, since she wasn't really here. Her armor was, though, and if she didn't stick to the plan, the armor might not leave this place. Where would she be then? Her first taste of freedom in years ripped away. Her spirit trapped forever inside the old... Her spirit trapped forever inside the old stone church, a ghost crammed back into its coffin. A tentacled rust golem rolled and tumbled along the edges of the room. Behind the bar where Magda had thrown Mercutio, another golem's tendrils waved and whipped. Pretty frightening if you didn't know what it was, which club-goers did not, and therefore they ran away from the bar in any direction possible. Most of the patrons were now packed into the entryway corridor. Magda didn't know if someone had opened the magically sealed front door. Probably. Those same patrons were likely pouring out of the club, their combined mass keeping the front door guards from coming in. Any guards that were still conscious, anyway. Taking them out had been left to cray-cray-bray. It all came down to the first move. "Linc, Gary, stay clear," the Minotaur said. "This one is mine." Nostrils flaring, nose ring bobbing with each step, and more murder in his eyes than those of a hangman, the muscle-bound man-beast came forward. He was a big bastard, that was for sure. Back in her Rixator days, she had killed bigger and badder, but she had also been hurt by foes like this. The way to beat him was to use his mass and aggression against him. Armor Magda reached for the grenade she had affixed behind her back. Gary threw his blade. The timing seemed right. Robert was going to slam that Shadow Knight into the wall, so if Gariginald hit or missed, the Beyond Black Shadow would not attack Gary. At least, not right away. Gariginald had been practicing, as evidenced by the many blade-tip shaped holes in his office wall. He needed more practice, apparently. He had aimed for one of those vertical fire slits, but his knife struck spiked shoulder armor and tumbled away deeper into the club. As Robert rushed forward, axe up and ready for a short, vicious, downward chop, the seemingly two-dimensional Shadow Knight hurled something, hurled it hard, and with more accuracy than Gariginald could muster, to say the least. The object, trailing smoke, smashed into Robert's prodigious bull nose and spun upward. Robert winced, but did not slow. A second smoking object, though, hit him right in the eye. "Grenade!" Lincoln called out as he threw himself atop Callista, wrapping her protectively in his cloak as they both fell to the floor. Grenades? In here? That wasn't very civilized, now was it? Robert plowed forward and swung his axe downward, but the Shadow Knight must have been expecting it. The dark mass sidestepped the blade while simultaneously throwing a hard punch to Robert's stomach. The Minotaur's momentum carried him forward even as he let out an airless grunt of pain. The Shadow Knight's other hand, or at least the inky darkness that had a hand shape, moved so fast, snatching the labrys out of Robert's hands as Robert crashed past, falling to the floor. The dance floor filled with billowing white that sparkled in the Jorogumo light. Callista's club kid guards, the ones that had guns anyway, opened fire on the haze-obscured Shadow Knight. Gariginald saw sparks as bullets hit armor, heard pings of the same, heard a club kid cry out as one of the ricochets found a fleshy home. "Cease fire!" Gariginald shouted. "Cease fire!" The gunfire died out as the smoke thickened. "Nice moves, douchebag!" Lincoln hopped to his feet, his cloak making his outline even more amorphous than that of the Shadow Knight. "Now it's my turn." Lincoln stood between the knight and Callista, who used the toppled throne to rise to her feet as she coughed from the expanding gas. Gariginald moved to her as the man in gray rushed forward. The Shadow Knight did something with his arms, something Gariginald couldn't quite process. Then, a muzzle flash and the sound of a gunshot. Lincoln stumbled, grabbed at his right thigh, and fell to the dance floor. Lincoln hated getting punched in the face. Punched anywhere, for that matter. It was never fun, especially not against those who knew how to punch, which happened to be the kind of people that usually punched him. More than getting punched, he hated getting cut or stabbed. Knives, swords, axes, spears, broken bottles, homemade shivs, punch daggers, even a circular saw that one time he'd bagged a carpenter from Cordoba, and what a wild battle that had been. Getting sliced or poked with a point of any number of weapons sucked. But beyond punches to the face, beyond getting sliced or stabbed, Lincoln hated getting shot more than anything else. He was losing blood from the bullet hole in his leg. Losing blood and losing it fast. Didn't matter, though. He had to see this through. Lincoln drew his Kel-Tec pistol and pushed himself to his feet. Oops. Like a horned phoenix with a nose ring, Robert rose up behind the Shadow Knight. Robert roared and rushed forward. The Shadow Knight lurched to the left, out of the way, even as two more smoke grenades detonated, turning the once colorfully lit club into a pea soup of fog that stung the eyes and burned the throat. And, just like that, Gariginald lost sight of the Shadow Knight. He could barely make out Robert, and Lincoln was little more than a dark shape down on the floor, submerged by smoke. The remaining patrons cried out in newfound fear as the caustic smoke reached their noses their mouths and their eyes. Gariginald, to me, Callista called. Eyes watering, nose running, Gariginald drew 2 more knives and moved to the sound of his mistress's voice. Come here, you piece of shit, Robert roared. I'm gonna get my axe back and I'm gonna fuck you with it. No response from the battleship hull voice. Asshole! The man in gray yelled, the sound emitting from a swirl of smoke so thick it looked like you could rest a spoon on it. That fucker shot me! Bobby, kill that motherfucker! You know it, Linc. Hey, jabroni, come back here so I can snap you in half! The smoke didn't just billow. It swelled, thickened, filled every crevice. Gariginald could barely see his own hand in front of his face. He sensed Callista's presence in time enough to stop himself from running her over. I am here, mistress. We must get you out of this place. Over the sound of Robert's increasingly loud challenges, Gariginald heard his mistress huff in derision. Leave? Gariginald, my pet, this, she coughed, is my home. He had a sense of her waving her hands, circling them perhaps. Then a strong wind, a hot wind, whipped up out of nowhere. The drifting smoke began to circle. In seconds, Gariginald could see Callista again. Side by side, they were the eye of a hurricane of smoke, driven upward by her wind, spinning into ceiling vents. The haze thinned enough for Gariginald to see Lincoln rise, balancing on one foot, to see Robert running around the club, Brahma Bull thick legs driving him forward, the remaining patrons diving clear of his erratic, unforgiving path. Movement. A tentacled monster rushed Callista. Gariginald pushed her aside and stepped toward the oncoming threat, hurling his blade as he did. Despite the tears in his eyes and the snot dripping from his nose, his throw was far more accurate this time, hitting the wriggling mass dead center. It burst apart in a reddish-brown cloud, a cloud that floated for a moment, expanded for a moment. Then, Callista's inside storm started up again, concentrating and lifting that cloud and the smoke alike. The inverted tornado, wider on the bottom than on the top, carried the haze upward, upward, upward. With a whoosh and a hiss, the smoke was no more. Robert stopped running. He turned in place, looking to this corner and that. Lincoln stood near the dais, all his weight on one foot, a pistol in one hand, his hatchet in the other. The Shadow Knight was nowhere to be seen. Mercutio, to me, Callista said. There was no answer. Only the crying of club kids, the coughing of club kids, and, in at least 2 places, the vomiting of club kids. A cacophony of combined odors hit Gariginald. Puke, liquor, smoke, and had him on the edge of regurgitation himself, but he fought it down. No matter what the circumstances, a proper manager and manservant simply did not throw up. Charme! Lincoln turned in place, almost falling over as he did, slipping in a pool of his own blood. Charme! She had been at the bar, the same bar where Mercutio had been thrown. Gariginald rushed to that bar and leaned over it. No Mercutio, no Charme, only a cowering, terrified young woman dressed in white lace, crouched down and shaking among broken bottles in a floor wet with booze. Gariginald recognized the girl, the female half of the twins who had been grinding with the Charme earlier in the night. The twins' mascara ran down her cheeks. Globs of snot sheened her quivering upper lip. With terrified eyes, she looked up at him. "They're gone," she said. "The shadow thing, it grabbed Mercutio and the tall lady, and then they all just vanished." With that, the girl coughed, doubled over, put her hands on broken glass, and violently vomited. Gariginald smelled her sick, and that smell, along with the smoke still clinging to his nose and the cloying, perfumed odor of 24 types of liquor, overwhelmed his discipline. He threw up. All over the bar, all over the girl. Gariginald heard a clatter on the dance floor. Wiping his mouth, he turned to see Lincoln, on his back atop a sheen of his own blood. Lincoln weakly reached up, pulled off his helmet, the burbling black smoke of his haze of caramel woofing out as he did, and let the helmet clatter aside. "I don't feel so good," he said. "Can someone call my friend Walt to come pick me up?" Without warning, the lights came back on, and the sound system blared to life. Color and thundering bass crashed back in like a slap to the soul. "Gariginald," the mistress shouted, "turn that shit off." For once, Gariginald was happy it wasn't his music pumping through the club. The chopper rolled down the alley, coming to a stop some 20 feet from the iron door. 5 men in black suits lay flat on the dirty pavement or looked around in a drugged-out haze. One stared at his own hand as if it was the most amazing thing in the universe. A group of people wearing white cloth, white lace, or white leather stood guard. People Billy's age, and far younger by the looks of it. Cray Cray Bray had done her job well. She had planned to use what she called a magic mushroom spore ride to La La Land to take out the guys in suits. Lincoln had expected only 2 door guards. Cray Cray handled 5 of them, looked like, and she hadn't killed a one. Nice work. Billy got off the chopper. "Stay," he said. "Stay," he said, the word a severe whisper. "I mean it." Dragon made no noise, did nothing to betray her current form. The club kids eyed Billy, some of them slowly reaching for guns. Billy didn't blame them for that. He was strapped as well, his shotgun in his back holster jammed in there with his new staff. He raised his hands and walked to the door. A teenager, no way she was legal, just no way, in a shimmering white camisole and white canvas booty shorts, stepped in front of him. "We're closed," she said, "so fuck off." "My friend is inside. I was told to come pick him up. Some guy named Gargamel called me." The slight mispronunciation of Gariginald was a good idea. Billy thought it added to the moment. Jailbait slapped the iron door 3 times. Seconds later, a view panel in the door swung inward. Billy saw what he had been told to expect. A pair of reddish tan eyes staring out, eyes with horizontal pupils that looked like hyphens. Or maybe dashes. Or M dashes. Whatever the long one was, Billy couldn't even remember. "State your name," Gariginald said. "I'm Walter. I'm here for Linc." The view panel swung shut. Billy heard the sizzle of magic, saw the filament coursing through the iron door. Powerful stuff. The door swung inward. There stood a satyr, an honest-to-God satyr dressed in a tuxedo jacket. Puke stains all over his white shirt and cummerbund, even dotting the white fur of his goat legs. "Right this way, sir," the goat said. "Lincoln would not let us properly tend to his wound. He insisted we wait for you." That made sense. It was part... That made sense. It was part of the plan from the beginning. Billy followed the satyr down a long corridor. He had to break into a fast walk just to keep up. The house lights were on. The place looked cool, Billy thought. Probably far cooler when the bass was bumping and strobes were flashing. The corridor opened up into the club proper. There was Linc, sitting on the edge of the dais with a throne on it. His helmet and thigh armor sat by his feet. The white bar towels tied tightly around his thigh were red with blood. On the throne sat the most stunning woman Billy had ever seen. So hot, she made Ariella look ugly. Well, not ugly, but the difference between the two seemed vast, and that was saying something. She wore a chainmail bikini trimmed with white fur, white go-go boots, a sword across her lap, hair so red it poured like lava over her shoulders and down her back. Billy saw the filament storming within her. Filament that generated fire that was not fire, just like his. Filament fueled and energized by seething rage, just like his. So much power. He could see it. Power augmented by this place, by the energy she drew from the onyx polyp farm. "Hey, Walt," Linc said, raising a hand halfway in greeting as if he were so weak he couldn't lift it all the way. "Thanks, man." The woman on the throne looked at Billy. Her eyes, dark green irises, the same color Billy saw in the mirror every day. Eyes just like his. "Mistress," the satyr said, "may I present Walter, friend of Lincoln's?" The living goddess looked Billy up and down once, from head to toe. Billy saw little bits of dark flame flickering in her eyes. That seething rage within her, she was barely controlling it. "Hello, Walter," Callista said. "See to it that Lincoln is properly cared for. If he is not, you will suffer the ramifications." Linc held out a hand to Billy. "Help me up." Billy pulled his friend to his feet, got under one arm. Gariginald grabbed up Lincoln's helmet and thigh armor. "Let me know what you find," Linc said to Callista. "I'll look myself. There's only so many teleporters out there. And I'm really sorry about Mercutio. He'll be okay. I'm sure of it." Linc was not a good liar. Billy could usually see right through his bullshit. This time, though, Linc had upped his game. He seemed to be in real pain and genuine in his sympathy toward Callista. She leaned forward. The dais throne combination was just high enough that she could look down on Walt and Linc, even when seated. "Lincoln, if you hear anything, you let me know," she said. "While your temporary piece of ass isn't as important as my Mercutio, she was taken from under my roof, and therefore her safe return is my responsibility. As soon as that leg is tended to, return to me so we can find out who did this." The hate in her voice chilled Billy's soul, in no small part because the who of who did this was him. At least the planning, anyway. "I got him," Billy said, then helped Lincoln to the entryway. The satyr led the way, opened the iron door to the alley. Lincoln, if you hear anything, I recommend you do not keep it from Mistress, Gariginald said. I assure you, heads will roll for this. Or rather, heads will burn for this. The satyr and the fire witch alike, an unhappy bunch. There was supposedly a minotaur around here somewhere too, probably just as angry. Billy helped Lincoln onto the chopper, then swung on himself. He kicked the bike's engine to life, turned the bike, and drove it out of the alley, the engine's deep gurgle bouncing off the old brick walls on either side. Lincoln held on tight, or as tight as he could considering how weak he felt. Conscious as ever that not so long ago, he had been driving and Billy had ridden bitch. Billy pretended to drive, but Dragon knew where they were going. Once they were 10 blocks clear of Callista's old factory building, Billy spoke over his shoulder. Man, you're really convincing with the pain and the heartstrings, Linc. You been taking acting lessons or something? The kid didn't need to know where Lincoln went. Didn't need to know about the group. Didn't need to know about Linc's hookups with Ariella. I'm not acting. Magda's fucking bullet hit fucking bone. And I do feel kind of bad about grabbing Merc like that. Actually, Lincoln felt more than kinda bad. He wanted to punch himself in the throat for feeling the way he did, but the anguish and anger in Gary, Bobby, and, yeah, even Callista had messed with his head. They were as pissed off as Lincoln would have been had someone nabbed Billy or Magda. Well, tough shit. Whatever it took to get Sam back. Whatever it took. You'll be home soon enough, Billy said. Shitbird see anyone following us? Lincoln mentally reached out to the crow, asking in their languageless way if the coast was clear. Shitbird didn't see anyone following them, not on the street, not in the air, not hopping from rooftop to rooftop. Shitbird seemed unhappy. Big surprise. Lincoln got many images of oyster crackers. And something else. Something about him. He says we're clear, Lincoln said. Except now I think he's referring to me as fuckface? Like, it's my name or something? Billy felt Lincoln felt Billy's chest shaking with laughter. What do you expect, Linc? You call him Shitbird. Now he's got a pet name for you. Lincoln would worry about that disrespect later. He was too tired to think about it. That chunk of lead in his femur didn't help. A few more minutes of surface streets brought them to the Hilltop District, home of the Hilltop Projects and home to more abandoned buildings than anywhere else in Lumencia. Still standing abandoned buildings, that was, which made Hilltop seem like lifestyles of the rich and famous compared to the factory district. Billy turned onto a side street, then into another alley, then stopped in front of the graffitied, roll-up door of an old warehouse. Billy gave the horn 2 honks, high-pitched and happy, like a tiny dog warning intruders off a porch. The garage door rolled up. Cray Cray Bray waved them in. Billy drove the chopper inside. Its headlight played off a Lumencia Public Works van and the beat-up Frau Munda Groceries delivery van leaning to the leaning heavily to the left, behind which stood Dante, Ariella, and Cray Cray Bray. The garage door rolled shut behind them. A few dim lights flickered on above. Ah, General Walter, said a beaming voice. Your plan was magnificent. The whole plan hadn't been Billy's. Most of it, yeah, but some details had come from others, including Cherame, suggesting a second transition to a club-goer and Lincoln insisting he took a bullet. "Help me off," Linc said. "I want to see." Billy helped him off the seat a moment before the bike sizzled, popped, and a 15-foot-long oriental dragon started circling around Linc, sniffling and snuffling at him with worried whines. "Knock it off, dragon," Lincoln said. "I'm fine." "You don't look fine," Ariella said. "I told you taking a bullet was a dumb idea." Maybe so, but the real wound appeared to have been the truth that makes the lie easier to believe. If Callista had suspected Lincoln was involved, he'd probably have left her club only as a pile of ash. "No one asked you, Ariella," Lincoln said. "Open it up." Dante and Cray Cray each took a van door and, with a flourish like doormen at some fancy mansion, pulled them open to expose the van's interior. The seats remained covered with electrical tape, as no one had yet had time to properly fix the damage Dragon had done to them. One of those seats, the left-hand one, on one of those seats, the left-hand one, sat Magda's heavy, blacker-than-black armor, the same as it had been before the thick rubber. Hold on. The same as it had been before she'd glued thick rubber soles to each sabaton to make her footsteps silent. Her 6 visor slots no longer flickered with hidden flame. They were, somehow, a shade darker than the armor's paint. "Hey, Linc," Armor Magda said. "You okay?" Lincoln let out a noise that was half growl, half moan. "No, I'm not okay," he said. "You hit my fucking femur, Mags. I'm going to need a few hours to recover before we move on to the next phase." It was a strange thing to see a massive suit of void black armor plate hang its head, but that's exactly what Magda did. "I'm sorry," she said. "I told you shooting you was a dumb idea." "You can say that again," Ariella said. Magda had created a special meshwork round, one designed with just enough power to punch through Lincoln's thigh armor and strike the flesh beneath. The goal had been to hit the outside of his thigh, a grazing blow that would create enough blood to make him look like he had taken a bullet defending Callista. "Shit happens," Lincoln said. "Tell me it worked, Mags." The shadow armor's head rose up again. Armor Magda reached up and raised the helmet's 6-slotted visor. Inside was not the hollow of darkness of an empty suit of armor, but rather the face of Mercutio, his eyes closed and his jaw half open, as unconscious gets. He had several band-aids on his face, there to cover up cuts from broken glass, probably. The idea for this particular sleight of hand had been all Billy's. Billy had tested it himself, volunteering to be inside the armor and see if Magda could still control it. She could. The rest had been a team effort. Magda throwing Mercutio over the bar hard enough to stun him, at least for a few moments. A knockout potion created by Cray Cray delivered to Mercutio by Faceless when he, as a she, went behind the bar to hide. One of Ariella's rust golems making a scene at the bar to drive away any remaining patrons or staff. Magda using the smoke screen to quietly slip behind the bar, and Faceless helping to quickly put the armor on the unconscious Mercutio. The final touch? Faceless shifting into an eyewitness who saw the armor, Mercutio, and Hasherame teleport away. I'll be damned. Lincoln thumped Billy on the shoulder. Hell of a job, kid. Fucking hell of a job. Billy's eyes widened in surprise. It was like no one had ever been proud of the kid before, and it still surprised him when someone was. His grandmother had kept him alive, for which she deserved all the credit in the world, but she had done fuck all to help foster Billy's self-confidence. On top of the excellent plan, the kid had not used 1 ounce of his power. Nothing to alert Vestinian. Smart and efficient. That was Billy for you. "Where's Faceless?" asked Lincoln. "In Ariella's car," Cray said. "Out like a lilla light. Smells like puke. Takes a lot of energy to shift. 2 shifts in 1 night means Faceless will be out for a while." Ariella had her charm-driven alters, the frumpy Patty McTash, the severe Marguerite Dufresne, and the elderly dowager Esme Wilkerson Standish, but Faceless's morphing ability was on another level entirely. Hopefully, a night's sleep would be enough for the morpher to make the next transformation, because without it, there was no point going to England at all. "Slight change of plans," Billy said. "Linc needs a few extra hours to recover. Magda and I will take care of that. Ariella, you take Dante, Cray, and Faceless back to the motel. You 3 stay there and keep quiet. We don't want to do anything stupid that screws this up. Ariella will take you to the train station tomorrow morning. Ariella, is 3 p.m. okay? Ariella will take you to the train station tomorrow afternoon. Ariella, is 3 p.m. okay?" Look at that kid, calling off orders like a boss. Ariella nodded. No problem. She, too, was proud of Billy. Lincoln could see that plain as day. "Interesting." Dante smiled that shit-eating, pointy-toothed grin of his. "You still do not want us to know where you live. And here I thought we were becoming one big happy family." Like this green prick would ever get that information, especially after he had shown his creeper skills were still sharp. When this was all done, Lincoln would have to make sure Dante didn't follow anyone back to the old stone church. Dante had, after all, put a contract on Billy's head. Who knew if the goblin still held a grudge? Dante could never find out about the church. Their secret, their sanctuary. "Walt," Lincoln said, "what time do we meet up in England?" Everyone looked at Billy. Lincoln didn't consider him to be an equal, yet not quite, but the kid was already showing signs of being a great leader. "In Onyx, sun's down at 9:39 p.m., Billy said. 6-hour time difference. So you transit at 3:30 to Cordis, transfer to the portal I told you about, and you'll arrive right about 10 p.m. We'll meet you there. That's it. Let's all get out of here. Linc, get in the van. Dragon, back to cute size." Billy and Armor Magda helped Lincoln into the Frau Munda van. Lincoln gingerly lay down in the right side seat. Dragon hopped in, curled up against Lincoln's chest. It felt nice. They had Mercutio. They had the key to Callista's vault. One step closer to freeing Sam. Whatever it takes. Lincoln felt the van start up, but he was already asleep before it left the warehouse. "Baby, come on up. I gotta pay." All right, get my headphones back on. Tell you what, guys, reading for fucking an hour and 15 minutes takes it out of a brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. Too many voices. If I was doing a straight read, I think I could easily read for 2 hours or so. But with all the rasp my dumb ass throws on stuff, it takes long. It does take. You can hear right now. It absolutely takes a toll. So that is a separate skill set I haven't managed yet. Like you listen to a guy like Ray Porter read, some gravel, but it's more spaced out. I have so many characters who have the gravel, it really grinds on me. So as soon as A gets up here, I'm going to take a wee because I've had 2 scotches and a bunch of tea. and I got the gas. All right, let me go to the chat. I want to see what you bitches thought of that. Benjamin Erickson says, good stuff, good stuff. Recluse Mage says, yeah, I could tell it was taxing. Pam Weber, welcome, says, excellent. Dr. T. Campbell says, yay, that was awesome. Tony, good to see you. LOL, talent. David Lamb in the house, so many characters. Steve Bloomfield, my PUV James Keeling glass is almost empty. Bro, tactical refill. Get it back in. Sit back in. Nyoka, good to see you, man. Steve, all right. Poet, yes. Oh, my goodness. Apparently, a bunch of people popped in. Rob likes a cute-sized dragon. Several people popped in while I was gone. So, while I was reading, not gone.
Yeah, you weren't
Oh, hold on, sweetness. Okay. All right. Why don't you lean in there? Oh, just push that.
gone.
Okay, let's go to main. AK. Shoot. Oh, shoot. We've got problems, see, Gally. Okay, guys, hold on for one sec here. I forgot a couple of bits. I actually had a buddy call today who was going through a bit of a personal issue. So that chewed up about 30 minutes of prep time, which is a thing that sometimes happens. So
Hi, pals.
let me, oh, sorry, babe.
Yeah, I'll do.
I want to try and get this pointed more toward.
Okay, I'll do.
Why don't you get that point toward you while I go
That would be great.
take a wee? I got to take
Hi,
a
you
wee.
guys.
Oh, wait. You guys, A's here.
Please go pee.
I will as soon as this is done. Oh, my God. I got pee so bad. Oh, my God. What?
So we did some more work on my audio. You will see that this is a new microphone. We're going to try it. I'm not sure if it's going to make a difference, but we're going to try. Also, there are probably many of you who are waiting for your sleigh, and for the most part, they're all sent out. I brought some on Memorial Day to the post office since I go to the post office every day and I know them very, very well and have the code to put things inside their building. And I did that and they didn't see it. And yesterday I got 2 emails saying, oh my God, where's my book? Where is it? It got accepted or it got created and nothing happened. Yeah. Today I found about 50 books. The folks who are on the chat right now, Sean, I know yours went out today. Let's see who else. There's so many folks who went out today, even though I brought them last Monday. Oh, it's been a crazy thing. But you guys are everybody who ordered Sleigh in April is about to get an email. So it's going to be great. Let's see. I don't know where Scott is. That's a lot of peeing. All right. Okay. So Scott. Ooh. Ooh.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Man.
I'm having trouble.
What's wrong?
It's falling over on
Yep,
its own.
that'll happen. Okay. Keep talking. I got you. Tell me what's falling. This?
It's
Oh,
just
that's
if you,
this.
yeah. Okay, great. That works.
Oh my God, you guys had to pee so bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. There we go. How are we looking, babe?
Good.
As usual, lighting is just fucked up. Let's take a look at that real quick. All right, guys, we're gonna be up to in a second here. Go to cam 2. I did not set our autofocus is off. We have some new. We also have some new cameras involved, so we did not do them.
Not right now.
Not now. We're going to use that for the next time you see us. 2 weeks from now, we have Rob on. We should be having new cameras, and I'm very excited. Very excited because the cameras we have now are 15 years old.
I mean, I think we bought them in 2009.
2009. That's more than 15. Is that more than 15? Is that 16? Rob, tell me what the math. 2009 is how long ago?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sugar Plum, you ready to get rolling?
I am.
Oops. Hold on, babe. One sec. There it is. Oh, gosh darn it. Cancel. file. Open recent 54.
You guys, our quick summer shout out to the movies we want to see. I was not prepared. Now I want to see 85,000
So many movies I want to see. So many movies I want to see. Okay. So apparently we're sounding okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sean says, now I'm reminded of an absurdist YouTube movie called A Good Long Pee by Joel Haver. I have not seen that. But I will admit, I'm going to admit something that some of you may find less than palatable. I have my own personal indoor record for peeing.
Oh,
It was on a trip to the airport with Paul Carlson.
Hey. I have no idea what's coming. Just so you guys know.
Before we start recording for the show, this is the special tidbits you guys get is, sometimes you really got to go. You've had a couple of soda pops, it's been a while, and you're like, and you're taking a wee and you're like, boy, I've been here a while. What is the Guinness Book of World Record for the longest pee ever? And I assume some of you also at one point or another assume this might be the longest pee that's ever happened.
I mean,
so at one point I actually timed it. I was leaving Florida with our buddy Paul Carlson, and there's no off ramps in Florida. When you're driving to the airport, it's just a straight road and there's nothing you can do.
Recluse Mage, I already do wish he wasn't sharing this.
I'll make it short. So Paul and I had spent the afternoon at the bar. Paul wasn't drinking. I was. We go to the airport, and oh my goodness, I have to go very, 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 very badly. And I'm like, I think I'm in trouble. I'm like, I might have to pee, but it's at night, and Paul wouldn't pull over to the side of the road because there's no side of the road in Florida. It's crazy. It's like just drunk drivers everywhere. So finally get to the airport. I got my suitcase. I'm rolling. I'm literally walking over half crunched over. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to go pee in a corner of this airport. I'm going to have to take whatever the fine is. I'm going to have to pay for it because I can't make it. First bathroom I find was out of commission, was locked. Finally found one. And this was my personal record pee, was 98 seconds. That's a minute, 38 seconds of a pee. This was not that long, but it probably was. So anyways, fun game. Let's get down.
I have no idea how long I have ever peed as a record.
I wonder,
just for the record.
Just a show of hands. Am I the only one who's like, I gotta go. Let's just see how long it has to go. Set your watch and just go to the bathroom. I'm just very curious. Here we go.
D79, I was just putting up my hair, but I love that you said taking us to the gun show and showing off those gains.
Oh my God, look at the gains, bros. Look at the gains.
I have no gains, you guys.
Oh, you are so full of shit.
Okay, here's the thing. I legitimately lift 60 pounds.
Hold this. Now pull. Oh, wait. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Welcome
you guys,
to the gun show.
Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie to you guys, announce. I hate going to the gym.
She's a gangster, y'all.
Except for the gains.
Gangster.
I mean, I hate going to the gym every second I'm there, but I love how it makes me feel. And I hate that I found this out so late in my life.
He's never been a gym rat before.
Never been a gym
never
rat.
One time. So, but now she is a gym rat. She's on the days that I'm like, I just want to sleep in. She's like, let's go. Actually, it's more like this. Let's fucking go, asshole. You want to do this? This is my impression of you want to do the goddamn gym, so get the fuck out of bed, you asshole. Like that.
Scott did say on Monday, I don't think I've ever seen you so grumpy. Routinely.
Never.
I am grumpy if you wake my ass up at 6 a.m. Every single 6 a.m.
Turns out.
He has to
grumpy.
drive to the gym. He also, I said, he
Nice,
can talk
Tony, nice.
all he likes.
Oh, yeah.
As long as he doesn't expect me to answer.
So Rob and Dan, if they're still in the chat room, might be back her play when I say that I get up in the morning, I might be a little groggy. I'm also, there's a lot of this, and then a lot of this, and a lot of talking, and a lot of just blah, 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 blah. And for the first time in our 20 years of working together, in our 5 years of marriage, was like, honey, there's so much talking.
So many words.
So many words. And I was like, oh, that means, see now, Rob and Dan would have been like, Sigler, shut the fuck up. We can't take it anymore. It was much more polite. So there you go. All right, ready to do
There
the
are
show, babe?
so many words in the morning, you guys. So many words in the morning. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm so excited for the movies this summer. There's so many cool ones.
Pam Weber mentions, this is a good point. Great movie piece. See, Pam's our people. Great movie. Well, she's my people, not your people.
I mean,
Great movie piece. Tom Hanks in opening scene of League of Their Own, and the one in Demolition Man, and the one in Austin Powers. The one in Austin Powers is spectacular.
now listen.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you said that Pam is your people.
Mm.
I have known Pam since I was 6 years old.
How do you not have a catalog of movies with great P's in them? I don't understand.
I mean, I leave that to my friend Pam.
Okay. All right. Let's go. For those of you who are hanging out, appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get back to Maine, and we are about to get busy, get all jiggy with it right now. I'm kind of curious. Let me go to OBS. It's very late. Oops. One sec. I gotta look at something. Good crowd. You guys are fucking gangsters. I'm glad y'all hung out.
How do you use the 3 shells?
I still don't know how to use the 3 shells. I don't know. I'm assuming that's a cool person thing, and I'm not cool enough to know how to use the 3 seashells. Although it's hard to be more cool than Sylvester Stallone in that fucking movie. Let's be honest with you.
And Lori Petty, come on.
And Lori Petty. Yeah, very good. Okay, are you guys ready? Steve Bloomfield. Evacuation complete. Absolutely. Here we go. Where's the script?
I'm still waiting to
I
press
know,
the
guys.
timer.
I'm so sorry. Let me hear. We are recording. Okay, ready? Steven, here comes right here. Summertime and the living's easy. Air-conditioned theaters, that is. Popcorn, big screens, big thrills, big scares. We can't wait.
We'll be back with Empty Sets Summer 2025 movie preview. We'll be back with Empty Sets 2025 summer preview right after this quick break.
Do it one more time. Say summer movie preview, please.
Ah, shit. We'll be back right after this with Empty Sets Summer Movie Preview 2025. What am I doing?
Just read it. We'll be back with
no.
Summer 2020 movie preview. It's literally written down in front of you, dog.
We'll be back with Empty Sets Summer 2025 Movie Preview right after this quick break.
Fabulous. Fantastic. Well done.
Why didn't I read it right from the
I have
get-go?
no fucking idea. Also, you substitute quick for short, which I get. All right, here we go. Yes, absolutely. The Naked Gun hot mic scene. Spectacular. See, my people, these are my people. Ready to go. Welcome to Deep Cuts, the bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices Fiction Podcast, where a sci-fi author and an audiobook narrator discuss things and stuff in the world of fiction and pop culture. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi horror author known far and wide as the future Dark Overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, publisher at Empty Set Entertainment and audiobook narrator. On this Deep Cuts, we talk about the movies we are most excited about for the 2025 summer blockbuster season.
A reminder, this is a bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices podcast feed. It's not part of any particular story. You don't have to listen to this to keep up on our current tale, but we think you'll like this peek behind the storyteller curtain. Let's roll.
Let us get into it. I am so excited.
We've been seeing a lot more movies lately, you and I, because we have a movie theater down the street. And I've been a crotchety old man, like, I'm not going to pay $50 to go see a goddamn movie, which I complained about online on Threads in particular. And a couple of angry 20-something Utes moviegoer guys were like, why don't you just get an AMC membership, bro? You could see like 5 movies a week. I'm like, I can't see 5 movies a week. But I can see 1 movie a week. And there's 3 AMC memberships. The middle one means we get a discount on the ticket. We get a discount on popcorn. We get an upgrade on popcorn, upgrade on soft drinks. And if we go to see a movie on a Tuesday, a matinee on a Tuesday, with this combined, we're paying $7 a piece, $14 to go to the movies. And I am over the moon. I'm like, bitch, we are walking to that theater every goddamn Tuesday at 3:00. Let's go. So we're seeing a lot of movies, so maybe we'll see some of these.
Yeah, for sure. We are definitely seeing some of these because I'm so excited. But also, to add to that story, we can walk to the movies, but also I had a hard time launching after the pandemic. I failed to launch for a little while. I was afraid to go do normal things. And Scott did this Tuesday afternoon matinee at 1 p.m. where nobody's there. He started doing it so that I'd be willing to go watch movies again, which I love so much. And so I love that we have this reward that now it's a bonus.
It's turned out to be great. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing. All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about our movies.
We're going to talk about them in order of release dates, not our excitement. So the first one on the list is Bring Her Back, which comes out. It came out already. It came out on May 30th,
by the way,
last weekend.
Tori Pond is in the chat room. And she is, of course, rubbing in our face that she has the Alamo Drafthouse movie pass, which we don't have one of those here. But when I mentioned the chat room, we do this live stream every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're listening to this podcast, you want to join us for all the fun in the chat room, hang out and ask us questions directly, join us 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Scott Sigler, youtube.com/Scott Sigler, or facebook.com/Scott Sigler. Let's get into the movies. The first one is Bring Her Back.
Okay, so the plot: a brother and sister witness a terrifying ritual.
Shit, I didn't print, but as long as you're waiting, I didn't fucking print off mine, did I? God darn it.
What's yours?
I'm going to explain this to you. Go ahead.
Okay. The plot: a brother and sister witness a terrifying ritual at the secluded home of their new foster mother.
I'm excited to see this because I keep a database of story ideas. And one of my story ideas that I put in, I believe in 2013, into our story database that we have was called Bring Him Back. And Bring Him Back, in my world, a story I've never quite got to, was about a, tech girl. What do you call it? What's a female tech bro? Tech chick?
Dude.
Tech chick?
Tech babe.
Tech babe. About a
whichever.
tech babe who has all the money in the world, an Elon Musk analog, who's deeply in love with her spouse. He passes on, and she's been funding, this is my story, she's been funding this scientist who is looking into ways to, if you get to someone soon enough and revitalize them, you can actually cheat death. And of course, her spouse dies. She has this person kidnapped, brought by gunpoint. And then in my story, the tech chick kills the spouse of the scientist and is like, if you want her back, all you got to do is bring my husband back. You can bring your wife back. You have all the money, all the tools in the world. You better get to it because you only have a certain amount of time. I've never actually written this story, but I was stunned when I was in the movie theater with a couple of weeks ago, and Bring Her Back was a movie title. They seem to be very different movies, but I will go see this because this is one of those things where, like, Jesus, man, I should just fucking wrote that story. Same thing with the goddamn John Wick. I had a whole zombie story about someone who killed a guy and killed his dog, and the zombie comes back. He will not rest until he gets revenge for his dog. But these things happen when you have a lot of story ideas. So that is Bring Her Back. When is that coming out, babe?
It came out already. It's on May 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also, if you guys saw a few years back the movie Talk to Me. Talk to Me is from the same writer and director brothers. They're Australian.
Okay.
And they say that Bring Her Back is a new original horror project that exists in the same world as Talk to Me. While they're thematically and stylistically parallels, or at least there are between the two films. Bring Her Back is more somber and tonally distinct experience. So they're not technically sequels, but if you watched and liked Talk to Me, you will also
And I got to give a shout out. The movie poster is fantastic. It's an amazing movie poster. If you listen to this podcast, look it up. Bring Her Back movie poster. And this is important to me right now because right now I'm in a bit of a tiff with one of my publishers trying to come up with a cover for an upcoming book in next year.
Yeah.
And the cover is not what I want at all. And this cover is spectacular. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Next one. This is, I am very excited about this. This is called The Phoenician Scheme. It came out on May 30th. It is a Wes Anderson flick, I think. The number of people I love to watch on the screen in this is insane. So the short description: wealthy businessman Zsa Zsa Corda appoints his only daughter, a nun, as sole heir to his estate. As Corda embarks on a new enterprise, they soon become the target of a scheming tycoon, foreign terrorists, and determined assassins. It stars Benicio del Toro, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Cera, Mia Threppleton. Mia Threppleton is the adult child of Kate Winslet.
Okay.
Tom Hanks is in it. Bill Murray's in it. Benedict Cumberbatch is in it. Bryan Cranston's in it. Willem Dafoe is in it. Jeffrey Wright is in it.
Oh my God.
I know this is going to be a movie that I really want to see that Scott would miss. But I think you'll probably go see it with me.
I'll go see it because I want to sleep with this woman to my right. Frankly, the only reason I'm going to go to this and pretend like I like a Wes Anderson movie is because I am very attracted to the woman on my right. I am not a fan of Wes Anderson movies. I appreciate the craft. I appreciate the structure, the direction.
Just not
everything
the
about
movies.
them. Everything about them is by the numbers great. They are simply not for me. So there
I
you go.
love that.
Yep.
I also love that because that's a thing that we struggled with very early on in our professional relationship, way back in like the 2010s, that we had different willingness to see creative endeavors, and that wasn't a judgment. So I may or may not make you see that. I might go see it with my girlfriends.
No, I'll go. I love all the people in it. Okay, next up is must-see TV, NBC Thursday nights, Ballerina. Ballerina is an upcoming American action thriller film that is the 5th film in the John Wick franchise, serving as a spin-off set between the events of John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and John Wick Chapter 4. Cast: Ana de Armas, Lance Reddick, Keanu Reeves, Norman Reedus, who's fantastic, Ian McShane, who is a god in my eyes, Gabriel Byrne, and Angelica Houston. Oh, directing?
Directing.
Holy fuck, that's
Right?
fantastic. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So, of course, as someone who writes a lot of action-adventure stuff with very deep mythos and deep world building, I am so in love with the John Wick series. Had to sit there and watch while I was drunk and high. Had to watch nothing but John Wick 1 clips for like an hour.
More than an hour.
While I explain, like, listen, baby, you don't understand. You don't understand. Here's the thing. Back when John Wick came out, it was
Did you
all
see this? Shaky cam.
It was shaky cam and shit. And they ruined everything. And then John Wick choreographed fights, no shaky cam.
No shaky cam.
Save the world, baby. It saved the world.
Did I tell you no shaky cam?
Oh my God. Yeah. So John Wick was great. I'm excited for Ballerina. I'm hopeful this will be good, although it's hard to tell as things get going. But coming up after this, though, released on June 13th, and I have to admit, this is quizzical for me. This is quizzical. The remake of How to Train Your Dragon. I should point out first, though, that I don't know why I mentally took a shit on the original How to Train Your Dragon. I was like, this fucking bullshit. It's gonna be a stupid fucking movie. It's ridiculous. I'm not gonna go see it. It's fucking silly and ridiculous and reductive.
Way back when?
Oh yeah, when it came out.
Because you insisted I see it. Insisted I watch it.
After I had seen it. When it first came out, I was holier than thou. I knew better than everybody. And I'm like, this is gonna be a stupid fucking animated. This is gonna be formula. It's gonna be crap. And then at some point, sitting around one day, I happened to watch it at home, cried my ass off. And I was like, holy fuck, this is a goddamn fucking good movie. I was very, very wrong. But now they're remaking the movie with realistic special effects, realistic CGI. The goal is for the dragons in How to Train Your Dragon to look like real things. And the actors, they'll be much more realistic in the cartoon version, but this is a shot-for-shot remake of the original How to Train Your Dragon.
I didn't know that.
I can't verify this, but it is possible. They're not even using new dialogue. They're using the same recorded dialogue from the same actors, just reskinning it with this crazy fucking AI animation type shit. It's very, very interesting.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to a word for word remake. We had Psycho with Anne Heche and
Yeah. I forget. But yeah, that
Vince
was
Vaughn?
interesting.
Vince Vaughn. I think.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That was weird and good. Weird but good. I'm not opposed to a shot-for-shot remake, but I am opposed for these actors who include Gerard Butler and Nicholas Hoult, I think, or no, Nick Frost from the Simon Pegg movies. I kind of hate that they don't get to use their own dialogue, if that's true. We don't know if that's
true. It is
true.
their dialogue. It's the same dialogue they did for the original movie.
Wait, but you said that they were laying it in. You're saying that the script is exactly the same, but these actors are reading it?
My understanding and interpolation, no. They're taking the same audio from the original How to Train Your Dragon, which is rational because those people are all 20 years older. Their voices are going to sound very different. This is an old movie now, right? They're going to take the same exact dialogue, same script, same plot, but they're putting a bunch of technology and new art on it. This is something nobody's ever done before, as far as I know. Like, this is a completely new concept. You can take a movie that is old, you can apply CGI that is now very advanced on top of that same movie and re-release it. So this will be great to see.
So I have a couple questions.
Shoot.
So are the actors in this movie saying those words out loud and we hear those words out loud? Or are you saying the actual tracks of the original dialogue are being used in this?
What I believe is the actual tracks of the original dialogue. This, I've not been able to confirm this, but they are just re-skinning an animated movie where everybody already had voiceovers on it. And they're tailoring the CGI and the special effects to those existing performances.
I do not like it. I do
not
not like it.
Sam, I am?
I do
Okay.
not like it. That said, I will say Star Wars did this back in the 90s. They re-upped their CGI for the first three movies, and it was really offensive back in the day. Everybody hated it. People who had never seen it hated it. People who had seen it hated it.
But they also, the Star Wars movies, they also rewrote the movie. They deleted scenes. They added scenes. They did a bunch of bullshit to it that wasn't what we all saw as little kids in the theater. This is different. This is, hey, we've got this existing animated movie. Let's reskin this with some sick-ass CGI and see how it looks. I'm going to go see it. I'm going to see it. I'm not just...
All right. So
Next
now
up?
it's time for a quick break.
Okay.
If you have a minute, please listen to any ads that pop up, as there's only one or two, and it really helps the cast. And we'll be back right after this.
I'm going to have a sip of scotch.
Oh, me too with my water.
Cheers, my love. You look good on camera, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. My fucking wife looks good. All right, ready, guys? Ready? Here we go.
Peanut.
Next. Okay, ready? Snap me back in. Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. I'll get this right this way. Ready? Hit me again.
Give me a second. I got to reset the
Okay.
alarm.
Okay.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Deep Cuts.
This episode, we've got the Empty Set Entertainment 2025 Summer Movie Preview.
Yes, we do.
Let's move on.
And now we've got one that most of the people who listen to me and know my work would assume I'm going to be there on opening night. But I am not going to be there on opening night. And this movie is...
Nope.
Oh, shit. Oh, I missed it.
All right.
Let's
that's
just
all
go
right.
this. The next... Sorry.
We'll just move on to
fix
what's
that.
on the photo.
No, we'll do 28 years later. First movie in the series, 28 days later. Zombie movie. Guy wakes up in a hospital. He got in a car crash in a hospital, and when he wakes up, there's no one there. He just, anesthesia wears off. He comes out, and he wakes up to a zombie apocalypse, which is, of course, the same concept as The Walking Dead, although Robert Kirkman from The Walking Dead claims to this day he had never seen or heard of 28 Days Later. You know, you got to go with that. But then they had 28 Weeks Later, which was a sequel set several months after the original. Very smart product, very smart naming. And now we're 28 years later. Here's the premises. It's been almost 3 decades since the Rage virus escaped from a biological weapons laboratory. Still living in a ruthlessly enforced quarantine, some have found ways to exist amongst the infected. One such group of survivors lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single heavily defended causeway. When one of them decides to venture into the dark heart of the mainland, he soon discovers a mutation that is spread to not only the infected, but the survivors as well.
Now, this is interesting because Scott is like, listen, this is interesting to me. I'm glad they're doing this. Like, I'm glad they worked that writer muscle, but I'm not interested. I am very interested.
You're really interested?
So interested just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because none of the actors from the original movie are in this movie. That said, I'm not sure that matters
really?
because it's 28 years
wait.
later.
I'm sorry. What's his nuts from Peaky Blinders is not in it?
Cillian Murphy, as far as I know, is
Oh,
not
fuck that.
in.
I'm not
But-
seeing this shit. Fuck it.
Well, now you say that. You guys, let's double check what he says after this. The only star of note in this movie is Ralph Fiennes.
He's I mean, I don't not like him.
Doesn't move the needle though. It's okay if it doesn't.
If we can see it for $7, I'll see it for $7. But if Cillian Murphy is fucking, I'm a huge fucking fan.
Oh
of
yes,
that dude.
me too.
Huge fan.
Yes, me too.
Okay, let's move on to the next movie.
Next movie.
And
up
this one,
is-
you know what? You can all shit on me all day long. Do not give a shit. I will absolutely see Jurassic World in the theater opening week because there is nothing in this fucking world that is the magic of seeing a kaiju or a fucking dinosaur on the big screen. Nothing,
especially on 4th of July weekend.
nothing exists.
It's Independence Day.
That is
it's
as
all that jazz.
thrilling. First of all, a summer blockbuster in the theaters, they make them for a reason. They're spectacular. But to see the big monsters, the big machines, the big scope, the heavy damage, to see that on a giant 40-foot screen is absolute magic, and I cannot wait. Can I read this?
I was going to,
Go
but
ahead,
you can.
do it. Go.
Yeah, Jurassic World Rebirth is what this one is called. It comes out July 2nd. Zora Bennett leads a team of skilled operatives to the most dangerous place on Earth, an island research facility for the original Jurassic Park. Their mission is to secure genetic material from dinosaurs whose DNA can provide life-saving benefits to mankind. As the top-secret expedition becomes more and more risky, they soon make a sinister, shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. This movie has one star of note. Her name is Scarlett Johansson.
And I am on record, no matter what that chick puts out, I will go see it.
Yeah.
If you have not seen Black Widow, you guys, Marvel movie Black Widow, you fucking should see Black Widow. It is spectacular. It fell way under the radar. I love her work. I love everything she does.
Yeah,
She's
me too.
great. And now her plus a bunch of giant fucking dinosaurs is going to be awesome.
Weirdly sized velociraptors, I'm into.
In the chat room, Tori Pond says, Sigler, what is your favorite dino?
I know.
What do you think it is?
I think it's an Allosaurus.
Allosaurus?
Allosaurus, sorry. Did I say Alleo
You said
again? Yeah, I do that
Allosaurus.
all the time. Allosaurus, that's what I think.
I'm a big fan of Allosaurus, smaller than a T-Rex, faster than a T-Rex.
You could
sick
have
claw.
as a pet.
I don't think so. An Allosaurus, dude,
I mean, you
they're
could
about
have
600,
as a
700
farm
pounds.
animal.
You could have an Allosaurus as a farm animal,
I'm saying
absolutely.
you could.
I also like Stegosaurus quite a lot. Diplodocus is a big. I'm a big fan of that. T-Rex is great. I do think, though, my absolute favorite, though, is the Ankylosaur. The Ankylosaur.
Oh.
Ankylosaur don't give a fuck. Ankylosaur is like, oh, you want to show me? Look at my butt, bitch. Come on, why don't you come bite this
I
butt.
also have a
I'm not going to
large
smash you.
rump.
I'm not going to smash you with my bony tail. Just go ahead and bite my butt. It's fine. And then shwabook, and then fucking Ankylosaur knocks you the fuck out. Love an Ankylosaur. Great shit.
You didn't ask, but
I'm asking
love
now.
I love a pterodactyl. I love a pterodactyl.
Caw-caw.
Because a
Pterodactyl.
pterodactyl lasted vastly.
Is that right?
Well, they still were extinct, but they lasted a long time, right? Because they could move their habitat. So I love them. I also love them because they were relevant in Torchwood, which is a sci-fi movie from Wales, or a
What?
TV show from Wales in the 2000s, and they were very fun.
They are awesome. Okay, now let's get into controversy. Here we go. This is going to get me fucking canceled right now, probably by Rob Otto, my co-writer, is Slay
And
co-writer.
Stephen King, probably.
Probably our buddy Stephen King, actor Stephen King. Here we go. Superman. I am putting this up here because obviously it is a summer blockbuster. There's been a lot of excitement about this, but I don't go see DC movies because every DC movie sucks camel balls. They're all terrible. Wonder Woman was the one I saw. I'm like, that's arguably a decent movie, but then they come out with a sequel to Wonder Woman.
1984 was terrible. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
DC's still trying to crack the code that Marvel has figured out a long time ago. Also, to be fair, I must point this out. DC Comics, I never read DC Comics because I didn't like them. Superman, the most powerful creature there's ever been, he can't be hurt. Batman, the richest man ever, he's also a super genius, he's also super brave. Everybody in DC Comics were all like, they're all fucking perfect and the masters of the craft, and Marvel was a little more accessible. I won't see Superman unless it's really good. Babe?
I will just say the synopsis for this movie is Superman embarks on a journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as Clark Kent. And I kind of love this idea that he gets to look back because we as humans on Earth do this all the time. We have moments in our lives where we have come to a place in our lives and we stop and think, ooh, I might have done that differently if I had to do it again. But on balance, I'm not mad about who I am as a human being. Why shouldn't Superman do this? He had to be forced to be Clark Kent so that he could live on Earth. And I feel like that's important.
Water.
Thank you.
Yep. Still trying to figure it out. Okay. All right. So now we're going to come back in.
But I will also say this, sorry.
Wait, go.
I will say Superman has two cast members of note. One is Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who is not Superman.
That's a good point.
And the other is Nicholas Hoult, also not Superman. So if you want to try a new
dude,
Superman.
Nathan Fillion is on another level. I would, for $7, I'll go see this to see Nathan Fillion be Guy Gardner. And if anything else nice happens in the movie, that's fantastic. But next up.
Rapid fire, my friend. Let's do it.
Next up, here we go. No, rapid fire?
Yeah. Fantastic Four. Comes out July 25th. Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing face their most daunting challenges yet as they defend Earth from Galactus and the Silver Surfer.
Is John Malkovich Galactus?
I don't know.
Gotta be. Gotta fucking be. Please, Jesus.
I mean, I hope so. But
John
what I will say is
Malkovich.
this. John Malkovich is in this. Natasha Lyonne is in this.
Yep.
And Mr. Fantastic is Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal, and I am going to see this.
I'll go see it too. You know what? I don't know anyone in this fucking world who doesn't have a crush on Pedro Pascal. He's fucking fantastic. He's magnificent. And I will go see, I will pay $7. I will pay $10. See this. But if John Malkovich is Galactus, I'll pay as much as $15 to see this shit right there.
Rapid fire round. Next one.
That I must see.
Oh my goodness.
And you can all kiss my fat ass. Happy Gilmore 2.
Not even a theatrical release.
Happy Gilmore.
And the FDO insisted on it being on this list.
I love the movie Happy Gilmore so much. My co-writer, Rob Otto, who's in the chat right now, hates Adam Sandler movies. Hates them. Hates Adam Sandler.
Oh,
performance.
hello, Rob Otto. I didn't know that.
You know, he does not like Adam Sandler movies.
Hello, Rob
This is
Otto.
the one hill upon which Rob and I differ, as we are in unison about so many things. I can't wait for fucking Happy Gilmore 2. All right, moving on. Let's go to, now this is one of...
this is going to be a one where it's me, not you.
Okay.
You're like, I'm not here for Happy Gilmore 2. You're probably not here for The Naked Gun.
No, I'm not.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm
Naked
not.
Gun remake, August 1st. I'm not going to lie to you. We don't have to spend a lot of time talking about this.
wow.
I can't not see Liam Neeson's do his thing and
Liam
see if he
Neeson's,
does
though?
it. The Liam Neeson's, though. That's the whole reason.
The Liam Neeson's, though, I think Liam Neeson's is fantastic. I think he should have stopped doing close-in combat, hand-to-hand combat movies like 10, 12 years ago. Great job. He would make an awesome master villain in anything. He'd make an awesome like manager of the young people who go out to beat people's faces.
Yeah, but you're
but
not
I
in.
don't think I've ever seen him do comedy. Have you ever seen the Liam Neeson's do comedy?
No, this is my whole point. This is why I want to try it. I might not try it because it's also the Naked Gun, but I might try it.
Rob Otto in the chat room says, I would only see the Naked Gun movie for the O.J. Simpson jokes. I guarantee you, Rob, they will not make any O.J. Simpson jokes in this fucking movie. They're not going to do it. All right, moving on. Ready, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now this I'm torn on. So this is a movie that is a bastion, a cornerstone of my childhood with Rob Otto and Dan Baker, The Toxic Avenger. It's a trauma film, and it's a horrible film. But trauma in the 70s and the 80s came up with a formula. We're going to make low budget, crazy, gory, silly movies. And then those movies flourished on VHS. They made money by VHS sales at Blockbuster, etc. And now, 30 years later, they're remaking 40 years later, they're remaking Toxic Avenger with Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage.
And?
I don't know.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon, for fuck's sake.
Would you like me to read the synopsis?
Yeah, go for it.
A janitor becomes a social outcast after a freak accident at a chemical factory turns him into a mutant. However, he soon uses his newfound superhuman strength to battle slimy criminals and a corrupt CEO.
The corrupt CEO got to be Kevin Bacon, please, Jesus.
This is actually an interesting film because it actually, the news that this film existed premiered at the opening of the Fantastic Four back in 2021.
Okay.
And, 2023. And then no information about a theatrical release until just recently when a theatrical release was scheduled in the United States for August 29th, 2025.
D79 says the first Toxic Avenger was Marissa Tomei's first role. I did not know that.
I love that.
I did not know that. That is fantastic. And Tori Pond says, I don't care how terrible it is, we will be at the Toxic Avenger. Because Peter Dinklage is such a unique individual in the entertainment space.
Yeah.
Can't get some lead roles he should probably get because he's very short. But this is a thing that that falls into his unique talents. Like we can
like Game of Thrones, it was specific to his height and everything with his talent as an actor.
Yeah.
Was beautiful. Yeah, I think Peter Dinklage doesn't get the roles he may otherwise get with his acting
every
prowess.
Every goddamn role.
But yeah, this is going to be.
Right.
I think it's going to be so fun.
Moving on. Next is the one I'm most excited about, which is Sketch. I'm sure this will be terrible. I don't want it to be terrible. I want this to be fantastic. But this is another one where I've had an idea in the database for a long time. And that idea is, it's called the Shadow Man. So in my story database, the Shadow Man is there's a little girl in a family who draws the imaginary creatures in her head, right? Like we all do when we're little kids, and keeps showing pictures to her family like, okay, this is my giraffe and this is the Shadow Man. And the Shadow Man is like all heavily black with like big eyes. But every time she draws it, it's somewhere in the house. It's like in the parents' room, in her room, in the closet. And eventually the parents start to figure out like everything else she draws is fantastical in all these places, but the Shadow Man is only in our house. So that was my idea for a story. Sketch. Let me read you guys the concept of Sketch.
Comes out August 25th.
A widowed father faces challenges when his daughter's drawings become real, affecting their town. He struggles to cope with this and his recent loss. On top of that, the lead actor is Tony Hale, who is from, I'm drawing a blank. What's that?
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development, Tony Hale, and Darcy Harden, who I'm not familiar with.
Yes, you are.
Am
She's
I?
not a girl. She was the robot. She was Janet in The Good Place.
Oh my
She's
God,
Janet
really?
In The Good
Oh,
Place.
fuck,
Yeah.
Janet in The Good Place.
Yeah. She's
Can't
great.
wait. So I'm sure that will be shitty because that's a wonderful concept. It's one of those things like, this is slam dunk. It's easy for Hollywood. Hollywood's still going to fuck it up, but I will go see this. I'm very excited about it. The special effects look really, really good. I'm excited. All right, moving on. Next one, babe.
The next one, we only have 2 left.
And these are Rob
next
Otto specials.
Yeah.
So we asked my Slay co-writer, Rob Otto, to send me his information. Of course, he's a huge comic books fan. So he had said the Fantastic Four, but he also added 2 that A and I hadn't added, one of which is him, which
This
I had not
one-
heard about at all, except it's got a goddamn football
Oh, wait,
as
Scott.
the movie poster. Hit me,
Now,
babe.
listen, it comes out on September 19th, so it's at the end of the summer, so maybe that's why you haven't heard it. But terror strikes when a promising young football player gets invited to train at a team's isolated compound. For me, having read about this movie, I also get number one with a bullet vibes. Like, there is a prospect that everybody wants. Number one with a bullet is a short story that Scott wrote. I think it's in Fire is Orange, the short story collection that we sell. But I think it's very, very number one with a bullet
is one of my favorite stories I have created. And now I'm going to go see this movie. The concept alone has me sold. The movie poster has me double sold. The triple sell is Marlon Wayans is the lead in this.
I'm not sure. Is he the lead? Marlon Wayans?
I'm going to go ahead and guess because Damon Wayans is a son of Damon Wayans, right?
No, brother of Damon Wayans. But I think he's a cast member in this. I'm not sure he's the lead character.
Well, it's the Wayans, the youngest Wayans who's acting right now looks so much like his dad. And clearly has a lot of the same comedic talent, comedic timing, a lot of the brilliance that goes into those roles. So I'm very excited to see it regardless. But as Rob Otto says in the shower, my football horror movie, nothing you would be interested in, Scott. Yes. Thank you, Rob. Now A and I are going to make a date night of that. And now finally we close up shop, right, babe?
Yeah, one
close
more.
Up shop with the last Rob Otto, co-author of Slay.
I mean, but look at
his
these.
pick.
He's coming in clutch. Come
Nobody
on.
2. Rob, I have to admit, I haven't seen Nobody 1 yet. I'm sad. I'm a sad man. Go ahead.
I'm
babe.
not sure that there's a Nobody one. Is there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Well,
Okay.
because it's
Rob,
just called
we're-
Nobody 2. It's
Rob-
not like the second
Rob-
Nobody movie.
Rob, my wife and I apologize for being completely unprepared. So go ahead.
Workaholic assassin Hutch Mansell takes his family on a much-needed vacation to the small tourist town of Plummerville. However, he soon finds himself in the crosshairs of a corrupt theme park operator, a shady
Of
sheriff,
course.
and a bloodthirsty crime
Why
boss.
not?
Nobody 2 features Bob Odenkirk returning as the John Wick-like assassin. So yeah, there's a Nobody 1, eh? I wrote that. Or well, at least, yeah. It also stars Derek Kolstad,
He's the writer of both Nobody-
and both Nobody
Wow,
and John
I
Wick.
didn't know
Hang
that.
on, let me do that again
Okay.
for Steve. Derek Kolstad, the writer of both Nobody and John Wick, has confirmed the characters would most likely only interact by passing each other in public.
Cast is Bob Odenkirk, Connie Nelson, Christopher Lloyd, who I didn't know was still alive, but I'm excited. Sharon Stone, who, okay, great. RZA, Colin Hanks, who's great. And oh my God, Michael Ironsides. Michael Ironsides is just absolutely fucking spectacular. This is going to be great. I'm very excited. Rob, thank you so much for this, which means A and I now need a date night to watch Nobody 1. Now,
A
keep
date
in mind,
afternoon.
I've watched Nobody highlights and clips. Most of the fight scenes I have seen. Bob Odenkirk fan, like the guy. Fight scenes are great. So Nobody 2 is going to be wonderful. Yes. D79 says the bus fight from Nobody 1 is, I put that, it's a top 10. It's a top 10 action movie fight scene because Bob Odenkirk completely embodies the everyman who doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to fight. He knows how to fight, just doesn't want to do it. But if you push him too fucking far, he's at some point he's gonna be like, okay, this is what you wanted. This is what you fucking get. And I'm sure Nobody 2 is gonna be much of the same thing. But I think it's gonna be spectacular. All right, that is the 2025 movie roundup. Is
Yeah,
it not?
that's it for this
That's all we
episode
got?
of Deep Cuts.
Yes.
Next week, we're just going to have a general chit chat. We are on vacation. We will be in New York City, and we're just going to hang out. So if you have questions you want to ask us, if you want us to tell you what we did that day in New York City, it's just going to be a live stream, general hanging out live stream.
Yeah, gonna be hanging out live stream. We hope you guys can join us next week. We have so much fun doing these episodes for you. And most important, you all smell an awful lot like flowers.
We love you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out.
All right, there we go. We're done. Now we're in the goof off phase. So
we open that door so that we can get some.
Oh yeah. I should have done that earlier. Okay, let's commence to the goofing off phase. Goofing off phase completed. Cheers, you guys.
So, you guys who play video games may note that this is from Fortnite.
Chug jug, bitches. Chug
I
jug.
got this little water bottle for Scott as a surprise, but it's weirdly so big, like round this part, it doesn't fit in anything. It doesn't fit in our cabinet well. It doesn't fit on the shelves of the door on our fridge very well. It doesn't fit in the car cup holders very well. It doesn't fit in the treadmill at the gym.
You know what's gonna fit though? When I
the-
fucking jump on Fortnite about 17 minutes,
Yeah.
it's gonna fucking fit like a
So
bitch.
I'm gonna have to just fill this with scotch every time to make it worth it.
That's great. Okay, you guys, fantastic.
Love you, Pam. Hope to see you in August.
We guys, if you do see these movies, please send your opinion of the movies to info@emptyset. We'd like to follow up on all this later on, and are going to see probably 25 to 30% of these. We can't see all the movies. We can't see.
I
all
would
the
like to see. Yeah, we would like to see more, but that isn't how
movies. All right.
life
But-
works for us.
No, we can't fucking stop.
We got lots
well,
to do.
Frankly, sorry. Hold on. I gotta fucking fix this.
Frankly.
There we go. There we are. Boom. A would like to not work as much as we work. I would like to work more than we work, but somewhere in that middle, somewhere in that concentric diagram of Venice, we're going to spend 3 days on vacation with no work whatsoever. Going to see my nephew in North Carolina, my niece-in-law, our grandniece.
Are not quite brand new, but new to
Super
us.
pumped.
Grandniece.
I've never
My brother and sister-in-law. We're going to see them on.
never
our vacation.
held this human before, and I'm very excited. We're going to see A's brother, which is my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and then 3 days in New York, where we're going to go to eat everything. Just going to eat everything. We're going to go to a couple of guitar stores, and we're going to eat everything. Fried chicken, some hot chicken. We're very excited. Anything else fun going on there?
I mean, when I lived in New York and was going to acting school, I had a favorite bar in New York City, which we're definitely going to go to.
Can't wait. So
It's
excited.
called Rudy's. If you guys ever go
Love
to New
Rudy's,
York
my
City
God.
and want to go to a true, absolutely true New York institution, Rudy's on 9th Avenue has, I believe, been operating continuously since 1920.
The thing about Rudy's is, if you guys are fans of speculative fiction like I am, Marvel fans, Daredevil is set in Hell's Kitchen, the comic book, and the wonderful first 3 seasons. I haven't seen the most recent season. And Rudy's is in Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is not really all that hellish anymore.
Yeah.
It's also very fucking small. How big is Hell's Kitchen, babe?
It's big for Manhattan. It's maybe 10 blocks.
10 blocks. 10 blocks. So all of Daredevil, that whole bullseye, Kingpin, all that shit basically takes place in Hell's Kitchen. It's fucking 10 blocks. It's this big. It's crazy and fun. But if you go to Rudy's, you just assume you're there with Daredevil and everything's going to be great.
Also, if you go to New York City and have time to go to Rudy's, know that if you buy a drink, an alcoholic drink, you get a hot dog for free.
Which, to be honest, if you want to sell product to a motherfucker like me, you buy a drink, you get a hot dog for free. I am there fucking 4 days a week. I prefer the hot dogs to be 7-Eleven style. I would like them to have been on the rotisserie for 3 to 4 days.
They do have a rotisserie.
3 to 4 days, so that hot dog is basically like warm leather. Those are the best fucking hot dogs in the world, you guys.
And if you go to Rudy's on 9th Avenue in New York City and ask for a rusty nail as your cocktail, you may or may not drink with the bartender, because one of the longtime main bartenders of Rudy's, his name was Patrick. He was there for, I think, 45 years. And that was his one drink. He would have one rusty nail a night. And if you were lucky, you would get there where you could drink with him. I got to drink with him one time. Rusty nails are terrible, you guys.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Terrible.
You're a liar. They're a godsend. They're manna from heaven. At Rudy's. At Rudy's, they're fantastic. All right,
Can
guys.
you make us main screen so I can say this? Just so you know, a rusty nail is Drambuie and Scotch in equal measure. Never drink this.
But baby, Scotch is always good, isn't it? Always.
It's if it's mixed with
Yeah,
licorice.
Scott's not a mixing drink. All right, you guys. You guys fantastic. Thank you for hanging
love
out for
you guys.
the double episode. Rob and I worked hard on this. A proofed it. I had a good time doing it. And we'll see you next week when A and I will be live streaming from New York City.
We might be tipsy.